Washington Heights. Who's coming here for the first time? Make some noise. Who's been here before? Make some noise. I love hearing that ratio tilt. So thank you so much. We love this theater, and we love watching movies in this place where we're meant to watch the movies. The real screen is bigger than this. Don't be alarmed if it's your first time. The curtain reveals a larger screen. But I am thrilled because I have a very special guest to talk about this next movie, Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. And some of you will remember we actually had Steven Spielberg here to talk about Raiders of the Lost Ark a few years ago, and he had just finished filming it, and then, spoilers, he filmed it, it went great, and my friend won an Oscar. Ladies and gentlemen, Ariana DeBose! I'm taking my phone out, not to be rude, but Ariana is singing at Carnegie Hall tonight as well. So I have to get her out on time. So that's my way of keeping time. Talk to me about getting a phone call from Steven fucking Spielberg, will you be in my movie? What happened to you?
Oh, well, I was in a nail salon.
Sure.
True story. I was in a nail salon in Midtown on like 46th and between 8th and 9th. There was one there at one point. And I had foils on my hands because I had done a matinee of Donna. I played Disco Donna in the Donna Summer Musical.
Tony nominee, Summer.
Thanks so much.
Wonderful show.
But I had foils on my nails in this salon, and I see an 818 number pop up on my screen. And I was like, I think I have to take this. So I asked the lovely lady to like swipe it, to open it. And she helped me get it to my ear. And I hear, hi, Ariana. I have Steven Spielberg for you. He's on a plane, so if the call drops, he'll call you right back.
Stakes, tension.
So much. And I was like, oh, okay, that's nice, all right. And he goes, hi, Ari, hi. I just wanted to call and say, hey, oh, the studio loves you, I love you, we are so behind you, and I want to officially ask you, will you be my Anita in my West Side Story? And it was bananas because I was like, okay, don't cry because this is sort of stealth because you're in a nail salon and they shouldn't know who you're talking to right now. And I was like, yes, sir, thank you so much. And he was like, great, so first things first, you can't tell anyone. And I was like, all right. And he was like, you could tell your mom, but that's it. And he was like, do you have a husband? And I was like, no, sir. If you know anything about me, you know why that's funny.
You don't have a husband.
No, sir, I don't. And he was like, well, you can tell your mother, but don't tell anyone. Cone of silence. Now, mind you, this was in October, and the announcement didn't come out until January of the next year. So I couldn't tell anyone for 3 months. And then my life changed.
Yeah, 100%. And tell me a little bit about that rehearsal process, because I know that, well, I know from talking to him that he was really reluctant to do a musical because he wanted to do his favorite musical and he wanted to do it right. And he said it was like going back to film school, learning how to do it. So what was that process like in terms of planning those production sequences and dance rehearsal, and Justin Peck,
yes,
the great Justin Peck who did the choreography.
And he really did such a beautiful job paying homage to the original 61 film and doing his own thing. But we actually had a rehearsal process, which I now know after making some movies that you don't always get one.
It doesn't happen unless it's a musical.
Correct. And so
Yeah.
we rehearsed for, it was at least, I think, 2 months. Like we had a good time in the studio, just playing with movement, and Justin had time to figure out the different style for each group, Jocks and the Jets, right? So it took us a while to really get there, and we were in Dumbo, downtown Brooklyn, I believe at the Kelsey Kirkland Studios for a whole like spring, that New York spring. I don't remember what year we made this movie.
It was the same time as Heights. It's hilarious that we're screening these a week apart. I think you guys were like spring into summer, and then we were like summer into deep summer.
Yes.
Because there was a little time when we were fighting for sidewalk space.
Totally.
And apologies to everyone looking for parking that summer.
Yeah, that was rough. But thank you for being so accommodating.
And I want to know what it was like being up here, because you filmed a lot of the stuff up here in Washington Heights.
We did. I actually think we were down on 172nd. Yeah, and in an apartment complex, right? Like it was bananas, and our team would come in and just bring out every aspect to like kind of, to honor the culture and the age of the architecture. It was really cool to see it happen. And then I remember looking down one day, we were filming the beginning sequence of America, I think, and either you were there or someone was like, Ari, Lynn's coming, and I was like, great! I'm just in my yellow Anita gown, and I was like, this is kind of cool to know that two movies that are so reflective of culture are being made at the same time. So many gorgeous Latinos are getting to do work to be on film. Because it was great because both of those movies gave so many of us opportunity that we would have never had. I count myself very lucky. But to answer your original question, it felt like we were rehearsing a musical. So we beat the scenes, we had a round table. Like Stephen Sondheim came in and talked to us. And Rita Moreno came in and talked to us, and there was a panel of people who were living on San Juan Hill. Wow, English, Ariana, work on that. Who were living in San Juan Hill and all the different neighborhoods. They came in and they talked to us.
Wow.
And explained just how high the tensions were within the community, which was very important because our film is nothing without tension. So it was quite extraordinary. It was fast and furious. And
then we all had to wait forever for the movies to come out.
It was hard. That was hard.
Yeah.
And stressful.
Very stressful.
It was very stressful.
They were both supposed to come out in 2020. They both pushed a year. Heights pushed to summer 21. You guys pushed to Christmas 21.
Yes, Christmas 21. And what was hard was we also didn't get to see the film until it was about to be released. And that gave me even more anxiety because I was like, okay, it's been a long time. I have very fond memories of making the thing, but it's the movie making process that you're kind of learning as you go. Once you finish making the film, you give it over to the director and the editor. You got no control what goes in it. And you're like, oh, is that the choice I made? I looked like that? Why didn't somebody tell me to move my hair? Somebody should have told me to get my leg higher. It was all of these little moments of insecurity that was like, what if I didn't do it good enough? I can't fix it.
And then how did you feel when you saw the final film?
Oh, I cried like a baby. Total panic, but cried like a baby. But I was really proud of it because I think what you see from all of us, David, Rachel, that entire cast is just a willingness to do something we had never done in a huge way. Because none of us had really made a movie like that, where we felt we had something to prove, but also we were in the greatest atmosphere to be able to play and try and fail. And Steven, as a director, couldn't have been more playful. He's so curious. The man eats Pop-Tarts on a break. I'm obsessed. He literally was like, do you want some Shake Shack? And I was like, no, I think I'm gonna have celery, but thank you so much. But he let us collaborate. I brought so many ideas to the table, and many of them made it in the film, and that was what really kind of hit me in the aftermath. I was like, I got to be a part of his process of making something.
I'm curious if you had any stage history. Yes, you can give it up for that. That's right. I'm curious if you had any stage history with the show. I was a 6th grade Bernardo, as one of 5 Latinos at Hunter College Elementary School, and I directed.
Yeah, you did.
And I directed in my senior year in high school. So it's kind of, for Latinos who love musicals, it was all we had for so long. Yeah. So had you been Anita? Had you been a grade school Anita or high school Anita?
I was a summer camp Anita.
Ah!
Yeah, I went to a musical theater camp called Triple Arts in Cullowhee, Western North Carolina. That, just so everybody knows, I was like, okay, cool, everything's fine. But it was an incredible summer, and I learned the original choreography from Charlotte D'Amboise, who is...
What?
Yeah.
Charlotte D'Amboise.
If you don't know.
Is one of the legendary Broadway dancers. Just incredible performer.
Yeah. It was great. I was sick.
Quite a teacher.
Yeah, and I knew how lucky I was, so I soaked up everything. But I think I was 16 or 17, and that was the summer that I decided I'm gonna dance.
Yeah.
And I might take the road less
And
traveled.
how far is it between that summer and when we met for the first time? Because Ari's Broadway debut was a show I wrote called Bring It On the Musical.
Yeah. Oh my God. It ain't no thing, baby. It ain't no thing. I love that song. It's a good one.
How old were you when you did the show? 20, right?
Yeah,
20-ish?
19. I think you cast me when I was 19. So I met Charlotte when I was 16 or 17.
That's so
And
crazy.
then by the
I
time
remember
I
we
was 19.
celebrated your 21st birthday at the hotel,
in
Atlanta,
Georgia.
room in Atlanta.
Yeah, it was like
where we were performing the show out of town.
It was the DoubleTree on Peachtree Street.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it was great. And that's the show that taught me how to make musicals.
Yeah.
So I was really lucky that I got cast in a workshop. And the workshop is like the beginning, or for me, what I understood to be the beginning stages of how things happen.
I mean, you actually got through one of my favorite stories about how every musical kind of has its own rules. You think you write one musical, you think you know everything, but every musical is different. Tom Kitt and I wrote a closing number for that musical. So we had a song that closed the show called I Got You. And it was all about friendship and giving high fives, and it was what you would think from Bring It. I was like, I got you, I got you. And it was great, and we were like, this isn't meaningful enough. And so Tom Kitt and I locked ourselves up in a room and we wrote this song that, like Hamilton, kind of reprised all the themes.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of somberly sang, it's all happening.
Oh, we meant it, too.
And we played it for the cast and everyone was crying.
Well, I remember the night that show closed.
Yeah.
Once we finally had made it to Broadway, I bawled like a baby. And we were in the St. James Theater, y'all. And my spot, I ended the last number. What was it? Cross the line?
Cross the line. Oh, she's doing the choreography.
And I'm like standing there, crying like a baby, looking up at the lights, just being like, I cannot believe I got this job and I made it to Broadway. And I thought my journey was kind of done, you know what I mean? So it's kind of amazing. It's mind-blowing to me that I've done the things I've done. And I just really think that if you really want to do something and you're just willing to try getting there, and it's not gonna be the same path as anyone else. You're gonna have your own path and know that it's gonna do this. But if you believe in it, you will get there,
Absolutely.
I swear.
Absolutely.
Seriously, go after
And just to close the loop, we wrote that very sad finale and everyone hated it.
I don't think it made it.
They were like, we need I Got You back. Bring It On does not want to end sadly. Bring It On wants to end with cheering and friendship and love, because that's what it's about.
Definitely.
And we put that back in and it killed.
It did kill, and I remember I had one little line where I was like Brad and Angelina, and you had written 7 different versions, and we're like, say all of them for the recording, and we'll just choose. And I didn't know that was a thing you could do.
That was a weird lyric assignment because I had to write about couples, but the couples kept breaking up on me. So I'm like Brad and Angelina, they're not together anymore. And then we had Justin and Selena.
Like Oprah and Gail. Well, they're forever.
Because we were rhyming with Venus and Serena, who couldn't break up.
Correct.
These are the things that you don't know about the lyric writing life. It is the 10th anniversary of Hamilton.
It is.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, babe.
I wanna get some of your sort of recollections of really before the world knew about it. What was kind of your entry point, and and then a little bit about the public before anyone knew what was going on.
Yeah, I think, I was in Motown the musical at the time, and Lack called me and said that you guys were working on something new and you just needed people in a room. And I was like, great,
Yeah.
cool, why not?
I think you were the first person to sing Satisfied.
Was I?
I think so. If not first, second.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's, Renee Elise Goldsberry is perfect.
Before we found Renee, you came in and sang it for us.
I did, and I thought it was just a really fabulous song, and I was like, this is such an acting piece, and I was trying to do my own version of Nicki Minaj, definitely not where it needed to be, but it was fun for me at the time. And I just remember I said at the end of that weekend, I was like, I don't know if I'm right for any of these characters, but I just really like to be in the room because this is cool. And so I knew from then on that it was going to be special because it was so just outside the box, but it had all of the elements that we already love, and it was trying to push us forward. And my mom's a history teacher, so I was like, she gonna love this.
We had one fan.
we started with one fan, and then look at how we grew.
Yeah. I always, I don't think I've ever told this story before, but I always give you all the credit in the world because you were already playing leading roles on Broadway. She was in Pippin, she took over for Bettina, she had been, she started in a principal role and Bring It On. She was already getting leading roles. And to go from being the principal to then going into like being part of a dance ensemble is not something a lot of people do. It's only for the people who really love it and just want to be a part of something great. And I love you so much for doing that. And I just knew that like, oh, you're like, you and me are the same. We just want to be around the shit that is good.
That is good.
I'll sweep the floors if I'm in a room where great art is being made.
Correct.
Like I just want to be around where the thing is happening.
Yeah.
The room where it whatevers.
Where whatever's.
And I recognize that in you, and so I always just like I'm always so amazed that you like came and were the bullet for us.
I loved every minute of it. That does not mean it was not challenging.
It was very challenging.
It was very challenging. That show is the hardest show I've ever danced.
I mean, and how many times did we just re-choreograph the final bullet choreography? Because that's the weirdest, hardest lift in the history of Broadway. You're getting lifted by how many people while you're being shifted?
The whole ensemble. And he's like, cool, so just don't move. And I'm like, great, I'm not moving. They're like, can your legs go higher? And I'm like, sure, you keep pushing until they just don't go. Sounds good to me. And then, but eventually I was like, great, so now my hip's like out. So could we put my hip back in? And like maybe just lower the leg a little bit. But I'll do whatever you want. I'm very much that kind of a collaborator. I really will try anything until we prove that it does not work or that it is unsafe, because I will call a flag on the plate for safety.
And listen, when I would catch any of our ensemble like showing off for Andy, I would whisper in their ear, 8 times a week, 8 times a week.
Yeah.
Can you do this 8 times a week?
But it's true. But I think, because honestly, if it's great, it's in the show. You just gotta make sure that your body can sustain it.
Yeah, Thane climbed up the thing and now someone is climbing that thing 8 times a week.
See what I mean?
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How much of the choreography do you remember? Like if I were to say play a random song to challenge you, how much of it could you remember?
I'm a chancy girl. Let's give it a go.
Let's go.
What you want to do?
Okay. 1 second, let me just pull up my little Spotify here. But I think we need a little help, so I've invited some of the ensemble of Hamilton on Broadway right now. Robin Walters, Chloe Campbell, and the OG Thane Jasperson, who is not only in the original company of Hamilton, but is still in Hamilton 10 years later. The only problem is we don't have a full singing ensemble, so will you sing with me? Okay. Are you sure you're up for this? Okay. Here's a little Yorktown. I'm not throwing away my shot. I'm not throwing away my shot. And young, just like my country, I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot till the world turns upside what like a memory. This is where it gets me. On my feet, the enemy ahead of me. If this is the end of me, at least I have a friend with me. Weapon in my hand, a command, and my men with me. Then I remember my Elias is expecting me. Not only that, my Elias is expecting. So we gotta go, gotta get the job done. Gotta start a new nation, gotta be awesome. We got bullets on the gun, the bullets on the gun. We move undercover, every move as one. Through the night, we have one shot to live another day. We get out got a straight gunshot, leave us away. This is war of guns, seize the moment, it's taking it. The demon gotta eat the business, end of obeying it. The code word is Rosamboldi. You have the orders now, go man, go. And that's Ari DeBose. Enjoy West Side Story.
Oh my God.